Hello, good afternoon, or whatever the time is where you are. How are you doing? If you like, just say hi. I am doing a pattern nutrition. I don't know if you can see. So this is what I'm working on. And if you have any question, we can talk. I just want to come live while I'm doing it, so that we can share ideas, or if you have any questions, you can ask. Good afternoon, you're welcome. So if you're a beginner in the house, we'll take your question. If you have any question, I'm making a tube flay bustier. So I'm just doing the sketch of my work. Then before I'll start my video proper, which then I'll go offline to record properly so that I can have it as a tutorial. But for the you want to ask question, you're free to ask question. Any question you have in mind, you can ask me and I'm going to answer you. Especially if you're a beginner, you ask me things you want to know, I would answer. Chuk Emeka, good afternoon. How are you doing? Hi, Chus. How are you doing? Okay, nice to have you here. Do you have a question? Are you into fashion? Are you a fashion designer? Please like and share the live. If you have a family member that sews, just you can invite them over. So today, let me talk about beginner. If you're a beginner in fashion, what are the things you need as a beginner in fashion? A lot of person give up when they are like in Ahmed. Okay, I'm making a pattern. Are you new to my channel? If you are new, you're welcome. I'm making a pattern for a bustier. It's a bustier top. It's going to be like a peplum bustier top. Like 6 pieces. The down part is going to be like 6 pieces. The upper part is going to be a bustier. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to sketch. Then before I'll make my tutorial, which I'm going to upload later. But while doing it, I just said while I'm doing the outro sketch, instead let me come online and interact. So I'm always quick to answer my questions on my channel if you ask questions or you drop a comment. So, but here I'm going to take questions. Hey, I don't, my stuff is not translating. If you can use Google Translate. All right, thank you, Mohammed. Um, Let me see if I can put it. Okay. If you're into fashion, just let's ask your question. I said when people goes into fashion, a lot of times you see them they drop out before 3 months, 4 months, and some person says it's very difficult. Okay, of a true is intense. It's intense. You need constant training, constant. Sometimes you're low, like your energy is low. Seriously, you need something to motivate you. you have to have passion for what you're doing to grow far in what you're doing. So yes, I if you're new to fashion, one of the things you need to do before you go into it, depending on where you are, you need to have a sewing machine first, because you're going to have the best way to learn in fashion is to practice. So if you don't have, like in this part of the world, some countries have a program, a fashion school that you register, you go to like a school. Unlike the one we have here, we have like it's a fashion school. They call it fashion school, but not really. But the truth is, if you want to attend real fashion school, it's like going to university. So you have to have a sewing machine. Though they have in advanced countries, they have sewing machines that you can go to school, you do your practicals and all that. But one of the major things you need before you start is to get your machine. Get your machine ready. It's going to help you a whole lot. Sometimes you have an assignment, the inspiration might come maybe at night or whatever, and you need to just dive straight into it. Or you may have an inspiration to practice, and probably you won't be able to go to school, maybe because of schedules and all that. You won't be able to go to school to do it, because most times when you're doing what you're doing in school is basically practical. Then that's why one of the things you need as a beginner, you need to have a machine first before you start. But in this part of the world, I'm in Nigerian, I'm going to tell you practical things about here. So if you're in Nigeria and you don't have the luxury of sewing machine, that does not mean you shouldn't try or enroll for. You should enroll for. Then another thing I would advise in this part of the world, okay, here in Nigeria, you want to go to fashion school, I would advise you first to try to learn in the basic environment first before you register for fashion school. Because most of the time, the fashion schools we have here, they don't pay attention to, they don't pay details attention to beginners. For example, just like in school, there is nobody's going to pay attention to show you how to match a machine, probably like a manual machine. Nobody has that time. Okay. So these are the things. Do you have a manual machine to start? If you don't have a manual machine to start, maybe you cannot even afford the industrial machine, and it's manual machine you can start with. You see, that's what I'm saying. Start, you can do 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year with normal um that apprenticeship, right? You can do it first. Then when you have acquired the basic knowledge, you can advance to going to fashion school. Because I see a lot of persons that they attended fashion school for beginning, they didn't have this basic knowledge, and when they are out from the schools probably 6 months, 3 months, 6 months, when they are out from the school, they are lost. So it depends on your capacity to learn. I personally didn't go to a fashion school, but I didn't learn for 1 year. Okay, I did 3 months first. I didn't even complete the 3 months because my call up later came out. I have to go for youth service, which we do in Nigeria. If you're not in Nigeria, there's something we call youth service. After university, you go to serve your country. You may be posted to any part of the country of your nation, any part. So you get to adapt to the culture, and just a thing to bond. So your environment, like your nation, very well, kind of, yeah. So I did 2 months, and I went. Before my 2 months plus, I've been making clothes. I think one of these days I'll do a catalog of what I've done. I've been making clothes. So I was fast to learn. I learn fast. But some persons are there that they can't learn fast. Okay. It's just a thing. So when I was done, I moved again. When I was done with my service, I moved again, and I did another 3 months. Before I was 6 months, sorry, before I was done my 6 months, there was a lockdown. but I was already good. So one of the things I did, I paid for some online classes. Um, I feed myself. I educated myself through online. You follow some groups, Facebook groups, YouTube. You learn, you practice, you practice, you practice, you practice, and you become good. So that is it. So I'm just saying that if you want to, but the best way to start is to do apprenticeship in some locality, depending on your environment. Okay, if your environment is the one that you have like 1 year curriculum, 2 years curriculum, like somebody going to school, when they will have time to teach you, break it down for you, you do practical and everything, it's good. So, but if you are in this kind of environment, which is Nigeria or West Africa, where most of the time you may not have enough to buy industrial machine to start, you want to start with a manual machine, it's advisable you start from normal local one. You can do 1 year. When you're done for 1 year, then you can now start advancing into fashion schools. Then they will amplify what you've learned. You understand? But some fashion schools in this part of the world won't give you that attention as a new beginner. So you see, because I have seen firsthand 2 persons or 3 persons that have gone to fashion schools, they actually started learning afresh again, meeting people that already know how to do it, to start teaching them again how to do it, before they now became good. Okay, so it's advisable you go first, then you start doing upgrading. When you've known your basics, you start doing upgrading. Another thing to learn in fashion is almost like there are basic things you should know in fashion. These basic things are the basic garment structures. Whatever you see in fashion now, whatever is just an amplification of what has been. There is nothing that is actually new. So that's why you have to pay attention to the basics. The basics is very important. Knowing how to take your accurate measurements, knowing your dart manipulations, how to manipulate your darts, and perfect body structure for garments. That will change your game of anything you're sewing. Your measurements affects every garment. Wrong measurement will affect your garment. No matter how much more you're very good in pattern manipulation or pattern whatever. Actually, when I started, I didn't learn with pattern. I learned freehand. Okay, so it was online through all these Facebook what Facebook groups. I will see patterns. Some persons, they just do a picture of patterns. I will look at it, read the instructions, and practice it, and I became perfect. And I started doing most of the time. If I want to make a client, I will basically use a pattern. Okay, so now when it comes to, I said you need to learn your basic measurements. Basic measurements for your basic garments is very important. Your shoulder to your waistline, how it should fall in, your difference between your shoulder, your front, center front, and your back center front, very important. The deepness of the back. Our back is not the same. So that's why you see some persons when they make a garment, it pops. Actually, most of the time, if you have a client, a first client, there's possibility, except your thought. So, except your thought how to eliminate those bulges. And what you should know, some persons you see in tutorials, some persons will say, for me not to have bulge for my back, I will go in by 1. I'll go in by 0.5. It does not work for everybody shaped like that. There are people that their back is deeper. You have to take at most 2 inches away for the back to slip. There are some persons that you have to do just 0.5. You do the upper contour, the lower contour, and the side contour. Meaning you take out 0.5 from the waist, back of the waistline, 0.5, you split into 2, you do 0.2 here, 0.2 here, then you go in on the straight line, you go in by 0.1, it will lie slow, like flat. But there are some persons you have to do up to 2 inches, 3 inches in contouring, especially those that have a bulgy bob. like it's coming out like this, if you take your tape to measure it, usually you're going to measure it, you're measuring like this. Okay, you measure like this, then you take your tape where it ends sliding towards the hip line, you now take your tape like this. Okay, so whatever you have, whatever inches you have, you measure this to meet the waistline, like the shape like this. Whatever inches you have is what you're going to take out, okay, when you're doing your back contouring. So most of the time it's not the same. You see some people, they do 1 inch. So you start getting to know this when you make it for the client. If you're just joining, just like the live, share, and you can invite anybody that is in this field. I'm just dealing with things you should do or know as a beginner in fashion. Okay, now I'm talking about back elimination, right? I said when it has different, the body structure is different for different people. So what works for some does not work for all. Usually, generally, they will tell you, you have to take out 1 inch for my back not to have bulge. Like I was saying before, I said sometimes you take more than 1 inch. It has to be 2 inch. Some are 2.5. Some are close to 3, depending on how out, like, portraying the bum is. Some persons has this shape, like their back is like this, the hip start curve, the waist start curving and move like this. So I said, for the person that just joined, I said you measure the way you measure it is like this. You need a ruler like this to measure it out, and another one to structure it. So most of the time you have to make a garment for someone for the first time, and the second time you notice that, oh, okay, I did one this time, the one didn't work well. Maybe while you are fitting, you notice that one did not work well. Then whatever adjustment you take in, you're going to take note of it to work with the person again the next time. So the next time it comes out better, you will not have to do adjustment like that again. So basic is body structure, knowing how to take accurate measurement, because your measurement affects whatever garment you're taking. Then the third part is fabric placement, how to place fabric, where to cut in fabric and where not to cut, how to place fabric to cut depending on what you're making. Some fabric also are stretchy, so if you misplace it, if you walk across the grain line, above the grain line, so you're going to have issues. If you cut some straight and turn some like this, when joining the garment, probably maybe the material is not enough, you're trying to manage the material. When joining the garment, you're going to have something like some part is going to be longer than some part. So these things occur. These are the basic things you should know. Then another thing again I would love to say is never be afraid to try. As a beginner, when I started learning, there was nothing I don't think I can do. I see it, except I don't want to do it. Till date, there's nothing, if I put my mind to it, that I want to do in fashion that I would not do, except I don't want to do it. Okay, personally, there are things that I feel I'm not called for. You understand? I feel they are so stressful, and it is the truth. Fashion is broad. You see, most of the designers, you admire their work, you want to do it alone. You're going to kill your body, because they have like a factory. They have people that are doing different things at the same time for them to achieve the results you're seeing. So if you want to do it as a one man, you're going to break your body, like you're going to hurt yourself. So basically, for a beginner, you may have those dreams. It's good to have those dreams. It's good to envision where you want to be in 2 years, in 3 years, in 4 years, in 5 years in fashion industry. It's good to envision that, because it helps you when you're working to know how to go over what you're doing. But I want you to know that it's not everything that you can do. There are things that is very difficult, and there are things that, in as much as you love to do it, you will not be able to do it. It's not a course or whatever. It's just natural. You will not be able, because you don't have the skill, you don't have the energy, you're not cut out for it. Actually, you may learn, but you may not be able to do it perfectly. So that's why you have to stick to something that works for you as a beginner. When you learn a skill sewing has different skill in sewing, their method of sewing. There are things that's why when you watch different fashion designers, they have different ways they manipulate their pattern, yet they achieve same result but different ways. So now what you're going to do, you're going to narrow it to one step at a time, learn one at a time, master it, then you can decide to learn the other person's method and master it again. But don't start confusing yourself between the two methods, except you're a very fast learner. If not, sometimes it's going to affect your production. Okay, it's going to affect the outcome of your production. Like me, I cannot make a bustier that will go wrong. I don't. I may not have done so much. I teach on YouTube, right? I may not have done so much corsetry work. I don't really showcase corsetry work on my page. I don't do it to showcase as well as a tutorial. That's because I don't like boning in my clothes. So when I do it, I want to project it. It's going to just be there. You understand? It's going to be there. I won't wear it. Though I may get a lot of followers for it, which I try to slot in. But from now to December, I'm going to make a series of corsetry and all that. Now, for you to even know how to make corset, you need to know the basics. You need to master your bustier. You need to master your shoulder bustier and princess dart. The only difference is this, actually, is the contouring behind the bust. That's the only difference most of the time. You're making a cup corset, you need to contour within from your bust region. That's where the focus is, right? The round circumference of your bust and all that. That's where the focus is. Actually, I will tell you for free that making corset is easy, especially when you have mastered the contouring of the front process, right? The back is not a problem. All you just need to do is to -2 from your back, -1.5 or -3, depending on what you want to achieve, right? The snatching you want to achieve. That's just it. That's as simple as it is. But the most important thing is getting your bust circumference and working with your bust circumference. That's why I still take you back to what I said before. I said for you to do good in fashion, you need to you need to know your measurement and your basic garment structures. Very important. Basic garment structure is very important. So your dart manipulation, different kinds of dart, how to move your darts to achieve what you want, very important, very, very important. Then your bust contouring, very important. Measurement, how to take accurate measurement, very important. Make sure, another thing, if you're a beginner, another thing you want to do if you start having clients newly, whenever a client is coming, you tell them, wear your best bra. And when they come, before you take that measurement, you ask, are you wearing your best bra? Is this your party bra? Because some of us, a lot of times you see we ladies most of the time, we like to wear bra that is comfortable, not too tight and all that, just to be free. But when they are going for a special occasion, most of the time they wear a firmer bra, depending on what they are wearing. So you're going to ask the person, is this your best bra? Like, is this your party bra? Like that bra, wear it when you're coming. Okay, when they come, so that when you take the accurate measurement, or they want to use, because if it's corset you're focusing on, because you need to get the firm measurement of your bra, like firm, so that when by the time you're done doing the contouring and getting the cup and all that, the breast is going to sit perfectly in the garment. Okay, so that's why it's very important, very key to wear a nice bra when you're doing that. So I'm not going too much into this other part because I'm trying to talk about basic things. I said you need to get a machine depending on where you're going, where you are living. Get a machine, please. If you're just doing it, just like, so that the algorithm will push it to others. Like and share and drop a comment so that will shows were active. Okay, so I said you need machine if you're in this part of the world. Maybe you're not financially okay enough to get a sewing machine. I said if you're learning, if you're a beginner in Nigeria, if you, for example, I'm in Nigeria or West Africa, most of the time the fashion school is not what they say it is. Okay, they will not pay that close attention to you as a person that is going for an apprenticeship. You know what an apprenticeship is? Like people that have shops, or like, that you can register for 1 year, 2 years, 1 year. And the good thing about that 1 year and 2 years is that you're going to have chance to do multiple styles. You ask questions, you have to do try and error. But if you're going to a fashion school, like the fashion schools we have in Nigeria, they have beginners, intermediate, and advanced class, which is three months. I think so. There's none that, I don't think there is anyone that lasts for 6 months, 3 months. Then what are you going to be able to learn if you're not a fast learner for 3 months? That's the question you should ask yourself. So now that's why I said, as a beginner, do apprenticeship. If you're in West Africa, you're in Nigeria, do apprenticeship. But for those that are in advanced country, that fashion school is like going for a diploma course and you take like 2 years or 3 years before you're done. You have a long range of time to practice, but still you still need machine. You need a sewing machine, a domestic machine at home to use or whatever. That was number one I said. Number two, I said what makes your work part is knowing the basics of fashion, which is body structure and garments. Garments, accurate body measurement, and body structure. And in it, I explained, I said that for the back, like for example, contouring of the back has different method of doing it. Some persons 1 inch out, contouring out 1 inch, and eliminating 1 inch from the back works perfectly for some persons. For some persons, 2 inch doesn't even work for them. And I said for you to get the accurate measurement, you're going to take your tape and add it to the person's hip like this, your ruler, not actually your tape. You're going to take a ruler like this and put it in the person's waist. Then you take your tape measurement, start from where the hip portraying part comes in. Like if sometimes it's like this, some like this. Then you take it like so, right? And it will help you to know how many inch you're going to take out where you're contouring. That's why I said some persons are 2 inch, some persons are 3 inch, some are 2.5. So when you see that, you don't have to be afraid. So I said these things are going to help your garments come out well. And again, what did I talk about? I talk about when it comes to corsets. It was this explanation that led to that. When it comes to corset, know how to take what you're focusing on most of the time. That corset is actually easy. What you're focusing on is getting the actual front measurement, your bust circumference, right? That's why I said body, knowing your body structure, how to work with body structure is very important in making dresses. And again, I said you have to persevere, you have to practice. A lot of persons give up 2-3 months, they are tired. Fashion is actually not easy, and I said that you need to narrow it down. Start, master one thing at a time, meaning there are different methods of making, like for example, there are different methods of making trousers. I use a particular method that works for me. I've tried so many methods. That one they say you cut the front, cut the back, and in the side you just take out 2 inch, you bring out 2 inches, draw it back and cut. It does not work for me. I've tried it many times. Then I discovered what works for me, and I've been using it for years now, close to 3 years now, and my trousers have been coming out very perfectly. So that's what works for me. There are things that work for people. You practice, you practice, you practice. Does that mean I will not take chances on other methods? No, I will. Okay, but I'm doing what works for me at a time. The aim is to produce good results. The aim is to achieve the best. Okay, not to know so many, but knowing what you know and doing it best. That's the aim. So I said, practice whatever method you have, practice it and practice it until you become better. When you become better, you can learn more. You can now learn another method to add to your knowledge, but study one method at a time, perfect it first before you move. Okay, so that is it. I hope I'm able to. Then you have to be patient when sewing. Okay, and I also said learning how to position your fabric is very important. Okay, fabric positioning is important because most of the time fabric has different stretches. Okay, fabric has different stretch, so the stretch depends on how you position it, and depending on what you're making, the style design you're trying to achieve determines how you place your fabric to cut most of the time. So that is also very important. Like I said you can go to learn apprenticeship first. Then when you are okay, maybe 1 year, after 1 year or so, you've already had basic knowledge, you've already have different sewing skills, because when you're doing apprenticeship, you learn different sewing skills actually. So you've already had different sewing skills. Then you can advance, you can take a fashion school advance in this part of the world. In Nigeria, I can speak for Nigeria. Most of the time, you're going to fashion school, they don't have the time to teach you, like, you know. So you have to have a basic knowledge first before you go into that. Then when you have a basic knowledge, you pick like this. Okay, you walk fast, it becomes easier for you. Then when they are doing the contouring, you will not look like you're lost. You already know what they are doing. Like I said, I did not learn, I learned through freehand, but I can do pattern perfectly well. I can even do pattern. I know I do pattern better than some persons that went to fashion school. Okay, so I can do pattern very well. I'm very good at doing pattern. I do pattern manipulation like I was taught. I was never taught pattern manipulation when I learned how to sew. So you can advance yourself as well. You get books, follow groups online, especially those groups that they impart knowledge. You know, some groups are just the ones that you can follow them and you get tips. Okay. Because of digital marketing now, everybody is making money out of their knowledge. So nobody's giving it for free again like they used to before. So it's just a thing now. But there are still old group that you can follow and you still see most of those things popping up. And whatever you can gain, you can get to advance yourself. It's advisable you do that. Pay for advanced classes if you could afford it. If you cannot afford it, do research, download ebooks, study through it, you know. And if you have issues, there are still groups that when you have issues, you ask questions, they will answer you. Take advantage of YouTube. Yeah, there is so much knowledge you can gain on YouTube. Take advantage of it. So that's my advice for a beginner. And as well, have patience when you're making garments, when you're sewing. When your work, you notice your work is not fine, you will see it with your eyes. You will know it's not fine. Take out time to lose it. It may be it's annoying to lose. Even I don't like losing a work I've done, but for your work to stand out, when there is an error, you have to adjust. You can imagine sometimes you have finished all the work, you have done embellishment in it, and it's not fitting the way it should fit. You have to take it down. So it's a process you have to learn. You have to learn it. Because fashion takes patience. If you're not patient, you will not be able to do fashion. Fashion is time consuming and it takes patience. So for anybody that wants to strive in fashion industry, you have to be very patient. You have to learn patience. In fact, it's a virtue you have to acquire. If you have to pay to acquire it, you have to pay to acquire it, because you need patience to project your work. Sometimes you're working on a project. It takes time. It takes time. So that is my advice for a beginner. Be patient, learn different sewing skills, learn hand stitching first. When, especially for a beginner, like for your zip issues and all that, is very best you hand stitch your zip first. before you take it to the machine to sew, so it come out nice, so you avoid losing and re-losing and all that. And also master your fabrics. There are some fabrics where you're sewing your zip, you cannot add pressure to the fabric. When you add pressure to the fabric, your zip will not align. The end of the first stitch and the end of the second stitch will not align. The upper part of the stitch will not align. There's nothing wrong with your stitching method. It's because the fabric has a little stretch and you do not know you have stretched it. So working with a stretchy fabric like that as a beginner, is advisable you use your hand needle. You stitch those clothes first with a running stitch. Make your running stitch on the two edges of the zip, then you go ahead to match it in the machine. So when you're doing it, you don't actually need to stretch it or drag it, because it is already laying flat already. It has been secured with your running stitch. Then when you're done with that, you can have a perfect. So there are different tips. Learn it. There's this lady, AZ, is it A to Z by, oh, what's the name? Oh God. I had her soft copy beginners tips, showing how to place fabric, your grain line, your cross lines and all that. Sewing tips for beginner. It's how to use zipper foot, different things. I think I still have it in my phone. I learned like 3 or 4 years ago, and it was very helpful for me. I learned a lot how to use a seam ripper, so many little tips that you can learn. Fashion is very broad, like I said, very, very broad. Kate Okolie, hey, good afternoon. You're welcome to the life. So fashion is very, very broad, and I hope this video is helpful, and I'm able to answer you in any way. Kate, you're welcome. You have any question? I've been on for like 40 minutes now. I'm talking about beginners, things you should do, things you should know, just little tips I'm just sharing, not all. Maybe I should probably do a tutorial, then narrow everything down so that everybody can get it and do it as a video for my and post it on my page. So all right, I am going to continue my work. So if you have questions and you're just joining, please just like the video, like the live, and tap on your screen, and drop a comment so that the algorithm will push it to the right people that needs it. I may have to. I'm waiting to see if I can get any question. Is it my network? Ketokoli, I said you're welcome. Are you still on? If you're still on, just say hi again. Let me know. I don't know if it's my network. So I guess I have to end the live now. I've done 42 minutes. I just I'm making a bustier. So I decided to come on live while I sketch. So if you're just joining, you're welcome. Kindly like the live, then tap on your screen so that more persons get it, and the algorithm pushes it. It helps the overall performance of the live video. Anyway. I was hoping I would get any question from a beginner, because everything I talk about today, I'm addressing beginners. What should be expected from beginner, right? So if you have a question, please drop it in the comment section and I will attend to it. All right. Since there's no question, I hope this was impactful. There's someone that joined. I don't know. You're using I it's not translating because I don't. I tried to see if I would see a place to translate it, but I couldn't. Couldn't see the translations. So yeah, I am I am done. I have to go offline. So if you're just joining, you're just seeing it and you don't know what I'm talking about. I just treated little tips for beginners, what you should take serious and what you should know as a beginner. So you can rewatch the live video when you come across. If you're just joining, you can watch the live video so you get the full gist. So that being said, enjoy the rest of your day, morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you get this. Yeah. See you next time when I come your way.